So we discuss about isolators and circulators here, and fiber grating filters and fiber Bragg grating. So these are the devices, optical devices. So coming to the first one, we have isolators and circulators. So in number of applications, we should have a passive optical device that is non-reciprocal. It should work differently when inputs and outputs are reversed. So that is a concept of non-reciprocal. So when I apply some input to a device, it is producing some output. Similarly, if I apply the input from the other port and expect the output from the other port, then I can say that it is producing a different result. So we call it as non-reciprocal. So it should work differently when we change the input and output, or when we reverse the input and output. Normally it is considered under a process of reflection. The reflection shouldn't happen when the light is entering a particular device. So two examples of such devices are these two, isolators and circulators. So coming to the optical isolators are the devices that will allow the light to pass through them in only one direction. So it is the working of optical isolator, the function of optical isolator. It will allow the light to pass through it, but it is in only one direction. And this is important in most of the instances to provide to prevent scattering light or reflected light, prevent the scattered light or the reflected light from traveling in the reverse direction. It is reflection. So it should avoid the reflection to happen in a material, or it should prevent the scattered light to travel in a reverse direction. So it should stop it in traveling in a reverse direction. So that is the optical isolator. The application of this optical isolator is to keep a backward traveling light from entering a laser diode and possibly causing instabilities in the optical output. So it is like when we apply some input to a device and the light propagates through a device and the light is obtained at the output. But during the propagation, some part of the light may reflect back, or it may travel backwards. That shouldn't happen. If it happens, then it may cause instability in the optical output. So the optical isolator is used to prevent it. But many design configurations are available for optical isolators. So we just look into the simple SOP, that is a state of polarization optical isolator. So it is having a three element. It is having two elements which are used to make up an isolator. So when an unpolarized light is passed through the device, it will block half of the input signal. So that is a design of a 3 dB coupler. So using that concept, we are going to have an isolator. So this is the design of the polarization independent isolator. So it consists of two plates which are birefringent plates and one Faraday rotator which is 45-degree Faraday rotator. So the optical isolator should be independent of state of polarization, since the light which is in the optical link will not be polarized. So we apply the input to the optical fiber. It passes through the birefringent plate. When it passes through the birefringent plate, it divides into two different components and it enters the 45-degree Faraday rotator. Once it enters the 45-degree Faraday rotator, the light is going to be rotated by 45 degree. The component of the light is going to be rotated by 45 degree, and again it is passed to a birefringent plate. And again when it passes through the birefringent plate, the ray gets separated and they are in parallel with each other entering the optical fiber. So one is termed as O ray, which is which is an ordinary ray, E ray, which is an extraordinary ray. This is the normal way of light entering the pipe. But whenever I expect the optical fiber output, there should not be any reflection which happens, which may damage the optical output or which may cause instability in the fiber output. So here we are going to consider it. So let us assume that there might be reflection which may be in the optical fiber, but this reflection can be avoided by this arrangement of optical isolator, so that the light which is reflected back may not enter the optical fiber to damage the optical output. So again the light gets passed to the birefringent plate. Again the light gets splitted into two different components, and it is again passed through a 45-degree Faraday rotator, and at the second birefringent plate the light is separated again as ordinary and extraordinary ray, and earlier we saw that the light ray were parallel with each other and they are entering the fiber. Now we see that the light ray will no longer remain parallel. Instead, they are going to deviate out of the optical fiber. Hence, the reflection is going to be avoided or prevented by using an optical isolator. So, we saw that figure shows the design of a polarization independent isolator that is made up of three uh, small optical components, that is miniature optical components. The core of this particular device is the Faraday rotator, 45-degree Faraday rotator, that is placed between two wedge-shaped birefringent plates, or they are also termed as walk-off polarizers. Then light traveling in the forward direction, as we saw in the first part of the diagram, gets separated into O ray, that is ordinary, and E ray, that is extraordinary ray, by the first birefringent plate. Then the Faraday rotator, the second miniature optical component in the isolator, rotates the polarization plane of this optical ray by 45 degrees. After exciting the Faraday rotator, the two rays pass through the second birefringent plate. And this axis of the polarization plate is oriented in such a way that the relationship between these two types of optical rays are maintained without any change. Thus, when they exit the polarizer, they both are refracted in an identical and parallel direction. So the light is refracted and they are in parallel direction. Now, if I consider the reverse direction, that is from right to left, if there is any reflection, then the relationship between the optical ordinary and the extraordinary ray gets reversed due to the non-reciprocity of the Faraday rotation process. So this can avoid the reflection in the optical fiber. So finally the rays diverge when they exit the left-handed birefringent plate and are not coupled to the fiber anymore. So this is how the reflection is avoided by using optical isolator. This is a device which is placed in the optical fiber link to avoid reflection, and due to which the instability can be avoided. Then we have optical isolator. In the optical isolator, we have considered here three-port device where the signal of different wavelengths are fed to this circulator from one of the ports, and the signal is obtained at the output of any of these ports, port 2 or port 3. So an optical isolator is a non-reciprocal multi-port passive device that directs the light sequentially from port to port in only one direction. So this device is normally used in optical amplifiers, add and drop multiplexers, and dispersion compensators. So that is the use of optical isolator, and its working is or operation is similar to the isolator, but the circulator is little complex when we construct it. So typically it consists of number of walk-off polarizers, half wave plates, and Faraday rotators, which has 3 to 4 ports. So consider a 3-port circulator. Here an input on port 1 is sent out on port 2, an input on port 2 is sent out on port 3, and an input on port 3 is sent out on port 1, so that the signal gets circulated from port 1 to port 2, where port 1 acts as an input, port 2 acts as an output. Similarly, an input on port 2 and the output is obtained at port 3, acting port 2 as input port, acting port 3 as the output port. Similarly, an input on port 3 and the output is obtained on port 1, whereas we consider port 3 as an input port and port 1 as an output port. So in a 4-port device, we can have 4 input ports and 4 output ports, so that the optical signal can be easily circulated in these ports. The other optical components what we consider is a fiber grating filters. So a grating is an important element in wavelength division multiplexing system that is used for combining the light and also separating the light of different wavelengths. Then it has a property of reflecting or transmitting light in a certain direction which depends on this different wavelength. So gratings can be characterized as reflecting gratings or transmitting gratings, so depending on the type of grating. So we have different parameters for a reflection grating. So we consider a variable called theta 1, which is the incident angle of a light, theta d diffracted angle, and this is the period of the grating or duration of the grating. So in a transmission grating, if I consider, it consists of a series of equally spaced slits. It consists of a series of equally spaced slits. The spacing between these two adjacent slits are called pitch of the grating. So it has got equally spaced slits, and between these two slits we have certain distance followed, and it is called as pitch of the grating. And the interference at a wavelength lambda occurs in the plane where the rays are diffracted at an angle, so this is called as a diffracted angle, and the equation for grating is given by this, and here m is called the order of the grating. And if I consider the first order diffraction to happen, we consider the value of m equal to 1. Then we have the concept of fiber Bragg grating. So these are the high performance device for accessing individual wavelengths, which are in a closely spaced spectrum of DWDM systems, that is dense wavelength division multiplexing systems. The fiber grating or fiber grating is a narrow band reflection filter. It is a narrow band reflection filter which is fabricated using photo imprinting process. So the refractive index of the core is changed by exposing it to UV radiation. Several methods can be used to create a fiber phase grating. So we see one of the method, the grating fabrication is by means of two UV beams which are radiated onto the fiber to produce the interference pattern in the core. So we have the regions of high intensity which are denoted by shaded ovals in the diagram. We see that later, which cause an increase in the refractive index of the core, but it remains unaffected in the zero intensity region. In a high intensity region, we see that there is an increase in the refractive index of the photosensitive core, but whereas it remains unaffected in the zero intensity regions. Here we see that this is the wavelengths lambda 1 and lambda 2, and this is the incident part of the signal. This is the diffraction angle. Now we see that in this imaging plane, two different wavelengths lambda 1 and lambda 2 are separated, and this is the grating period or grating interval. And here we see that these are the ovals what we consider, which is depending on the intensity. So due to the high intensity, the refractive index of this particular material is going to be affected, but it remains unaffected with a very low value of this ultraviolet beams. So this is what happens. This is what happens with the refractive index. It will not be affected, and it will be affected only whenever I say that high intensity is considered. For lower intensity, it is not going to be affected. So this is the basic parameters in a reflection grating, and this is the formation of a Bragg grating in an optical fiber by using two ultraviolet beams. So these are the two ultraviolet beams which are considered. So 244 nanometer